Hey folks, welcome to Tim's Off Grid. So we're doing drum brake inspections on this Haulmark transport 24-foot trailer with two 3,500-pound axles with the 15-inch tires. Obviously the first step was to loosen all the lug nuts so that I can get them off, and then jack up the trailer and put the axles on jack stands. What you're going to notice on the one that I've already inspected was that the adjustment assembly came apart at some point, and the shoes rubbed on the inside of the drum for who knows how long, and there's no wear material left on the drum over there. So now, because that happened, I'm now pulling all the drums and we're going to inspect all the drums. Alright, so I wanted to at least explain that part while I loosen these nuts, take this 15-inch wheel off. So this is your 5 on 4.5, 3,500-pound axle, and that'll be 10-inch drums on these. So I believe your 12-inch drum is going to be on your 5,000-pound axles. So with that out of the way, and by the way, brand new tires. So I was preparing to be able to take this to scout camp, but as you can see over here are all the pieces that came off the other axle. So you have the dust cover, you have the retainer for the nut, you have the nut for the hub washer. So I left those all. So here's what happened on this one. The bottom retaining spring broke and came apart. So then your adjuster on the bottom came apart, was riding on the bottom of the drum for years, and allowed the shoes to go out and ride on the drum. There's no material left on these shoes. Also, I think because material was running around in here, your magnet for your electric brake assembly was rubbing and scrubbing. And then if you take this hub, it's all scored up on the inside. So I've ordered a whole new assembly. I actually ordered 2 of them. So I got those coming in by Saturday. Been going through maintenance and repairs for the race car trailer because we may use it to take all the bikes to summer camp. And that's what it's looking like. All right. Get your nitrile gloves out. You'll need a hammer and a flathead screwdriver or other tools, because we're going to take the dust cover off. The hub will not come off without the dust cover off, and the hub nut, etc., etc. So be careful while you're taking these off. So I usually kind of get started, and then once I'm in, I turn left and right a little bit. I'll rotate not too far from the first one that I did. Some are easier to come off than others, but keep going. You'll get this to pop off. And this is where you remove the little grommet here, so you can grease the axle, which greases the hub bearings. And you'll see as soon as we get this dust cover on, or whatever you want to call it, you'll see all the greases in there. So besides your screwdriver and your hammer, obviously paper towels, because you're going to wipe away some of this grease as we get all this stuff out. Man, this one's stubborn. There we go. The other one came off really, really easy. Now with that done, I could probably just rotate around and twist. Now this grease here, not looking bad here. Always smell your grease too, see if it smells burned or anything. Now this grease on this other one was hot, had gotten hot, had turned a little bit black, but this is also indicative if you're starting to mix different types of grease, you're going to get different colors as everything mixes together. So if you were to come in here and start pulling this apart and seeing signs of water infiltration or getting a burn smell and stuff like that, you'd start to have like the burn smell, indications of overheated bearing, etc., etc. All right, now what I'm doing is I'm removing some of this grease so you can see the retainer for the nut, and we got to reuse that retainer most likely. So just be nice when you're taking it off. Just come in a couple spots. The retainer only goes on one way, so there's a flat spot on the top of the axle, and you're going to also see that these axle nuts are not that tight. A lot of times they're not even hand tight. So let's talk about what that is like. All right, so you see how freely that's moving, and you can see there is a little bit of play in there, but look at that, look at that. So that's how loose it was. I just turned it a little bit more, and we could take some of that play out, and that's how we'll probably leave it. Maybe not as loose as it was, because I'm not so sure I want all that play, but you do want axle to turn very freely. All right, but it also comes to what flat designation can I get on here when this piece goes back on. All right, so remember that does become a factor. So we got the retainer, we got the nut, and there's going to be a washer behind the nut. I'm just cleaning these up a little bit because it might make my life a little bit easier later, and I like to use the washer to kind of get the screwdriver to get that washer going. All right, it's out. Throw it over here. The outer bearing usually wants to just pop right off. That's okay. Just kind of hold on to everything. All right, and here we are. So compared to that other one, so far, I got plenty of wear material. Everything's where it's supposed to be. I'm pretty happy with the way this one looks. The last indication would be, how are we looking in here? I'm gonna take a finger that's not been in grease and see if I feel any scoring or anything like that. Nope. The bearings obviously rolled very freely, so I'm not super concerned about this one like I am the other one. So I give this one a clean bill of health, and I got plenty of material left on there too. So I'll give a little bit of a close-up. So lots of material left on the leading side and the lagging side of that shoe. Magnet looks really good. Springs are still intact. Adjuster is intact down there. Upper springs are intact. As compared to the other hub, I got no material left because the lower spring broke. The adjuster gave way. The springs expanded on the leading and lagging edge, and all the material is gone. So this entire assembly I'm going to replace because I've got a lot of scoring on the magnet too. So the magnet energizes and pushes those brakes out. The adjusting spring and so forth, all that's in there to hold things in. The magnets to push things out. So when that energizes, it's going to push everything out. All right, so I'm just going to stick the outer bearing back in. I'm going to put the hub assembly back on. We're going to put the washer back on. I'm not going to let it go with this grass though. I will re-grease these later. Washer only goes on one way, so you can't mess that up. You already know the nut, doesn't matter how the nut goes on, but then that retainer does matter. So we're going to spin that nut back on until we feel resistance, and then we're going to pull any slack out of here. All right, so you don't hear anything right now. Do we have free motion? Really free motion. All right. Now if I back that up just a little bit, do I have more free motion? Not so much, not really. So let's see if the retainer will go on with me like straight up in like a 12 o'clock position, so to speak. I think it's got to be tilted just a little bit to line up perfectly with the axle. That's a little tricky. So obviously you have a tab right here that's got to go right into the groove underneath the washer. So that's got to align for sure. So I'm just trying to see why, do I need to do the bottom first and then the top goes on? I don't think so. It's a little bit of a delay here while I figure this out. I haven't put one of these on yet, but this was the second one to take apart, so felt like I had to take it apart really good. So look, we're better than we were when we took it off. We still got a lot of motion in there, so I'm feeling good about that. We will go ahead and tap this dust cover back on. Yeah, that looks really good right there. I'm just gonna give a couple more taps just to make sure. Yeah, what you don't want to do is start coming on here and hitting it like that. You want something that's getting the entire front of it. And yes, this 2x4 is a bit big, but it did the job. All right, that inspection's over. I hope it worked out for you. I've done a lot of research here lately on axles, leaf springs, and digging into the drum brake assemblies on here now. So on this other one, what it looks like to replace this is I'm going to have to next pull those 4 bolts that you see right there out, and I think that assembly should come off, but in another video I'll dig into that. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. See ya.